Hello and welcome you all for part 4 of the chemical kinetics chapter. In the previous part, we studied about the rate of reaction and how to write rate law expression and how to find out the rate law expression or order of the reaction, half-life period of the reaction, and also the other factors which the rate of reaction depends upon. In this part, we will discuss about the temperature dependence of the rate of the reaction. Or at an outset, we discuss how the temperature change will change the rate of the reaction. Does it really increases the rate of the reaction? Why the temperature increase will increase the rate of the reaction, and so on. So it is depicted in the form of an equation called Arrhenius equation. The exact change of the rate of the reaction with change in temperature can be properly calculated by using Arrhenius concept or Arrhenius equation. And thirdly, we will talk about the effect of catalyst. We know that catalysts will increase the rate of the reaction. If so, how the catalyst can increase the rate of the reaction? Then the different theories behind it, collision theory or transition theory, that we will talk about at the end. Now, temperature, does it really change the rate of the reaction? Yes, temperature, we find that for a reaction increase of at least 10 degrees Celsius, increase of 10 degrees Celsius will increases the reaction rate to be almost double. And we see that most of the reactions are accelerated by the increase in the temperature. Decomposition of N2O5, the time taken for half of the original amount material decomposes in 12 minutes at 50 degrees Celsius. T half is 50 degrees Celsius, but 5 hours at 25 degrees Celsius. So the temperature is lowered, but the time taken is that extent it is increased. If it is 0 degrees Celsius, it will take 10 days to completion of the reaction. It tells you about how rate of the reaction changes with temperature. Right? So it is found that the chemical reactions with the rising temperature of 10 degrees Celsius, the rate constant is nearly doubled. So I recall the rate law expression. Rate of a reaction is equal to K into A to the power alpha or X, B to the power beta. For an arbitrary reaction, A moles of A, B moles of B giving rise to products. So this is the arbitrary reaction where A and B are the reactants and their concentrations are being raised by the alpha and beta, and this is the rate law. Rate is directly proportional to the concentration. So that's a change of concentration, how the rate is affected is being understood by rate law. But the rate constant K is dependent upon the temperature. K is constant for a particular temperature, as I have told you in that part, and K increases with increasing temperature, thereby rate of the reaction increases. Let us see how exactly the mechanism of increasing of temperature will increase the rate of the reaction. Now here is a graph which is plotted with fraction of molecules with kinetic energy. Suppose you have a reaction mixture. You have a reaction mixture in a vessel, right? Suppose in this vessel there are atoms or the molecules or particles which are undergoing the reactions, right? So whenever the reactions are ongoing, it is really the atoms that take part in the reaction for most of the cases. Now, this each atom may not have the same energy. So I am giving you the model of a gas. So in a gaseous mixture which contains the atoms, the gas, even though it contains only one kind of gas, the atoms of the same gas in a reaction mixture may not have the same energy. So some fraction of molecules are having less energy, less kinetic energy, and some of the atoms are very fast in movement, and maybe again some of the molecules are having high kinetic energy, and we talk about average kinetic energy or most probable kinetic energy, with most of the particles of the reaction mixture follow. So that is most probable kinetic energy. So this is the graph depicting that the speed or the kinetic energy possessed by the molecules in a reaction mixture. Suppose if I increase the temperature by 10 degrees Celsius, suppose this is at T Kelvin, and if I increase the temperature of this reaction mixture by 10 degrees Celsius, okay, so let us see how the reaction occurs, right? Now this graph tells you that the curve which tells you about the fraction of molecules that is present at T plus 10 degree Kelvin or Celsius. Now this was the earlier graph, and this is the graph tells you about the fraction of molecules. Now this was the average energy earlier, and now the average energy is increased. By increasing the temperature, the average kinetic energy increases. Now another thing is, most of the particles in the second case are having the energy necessary for a reaction to occur, and therefore more area of under the curve tells you that more fraction of molecules are participating in the chemical reaction. So you can see the area bounded by the second curve above this energy level is almost double of the area enclaved by the first graph. Therefore, by every 10 degrees Celsius rise in there 10 degrees Celsius, the qualifying particles for the reaction doubles, or it is more than 2. So this energy needed for the reaction to occur is called activation energy. Suppose you are playing golf and the flag post is far away and it has to cross a hill uphill. Just as a ball cannot get over the hill if it does not roll up the hill with enough energy. So the ball should be hit, or the ball should have enough energy to cross over this. Then only it can pass over, and unless the molecule possesses sufficient energy, it doesn't get over the barrier. Once it climbs, then the rest part can be then it will move more easily. So the excess of energy required, the minimum excess of energy required for the reaction to occur is called activation energy. So the minimum excess energy required for the reaction is called activation energy, and it is denoted as EA. Suppose in a reaction coordinate, if I draw the graph, and suppose this is energy of the molecules in a reaction mixture, and this is reaction coordinate, and suppose this is the energy of the reactants, and energy of the products is less, provided it is an exothermic process. Delta H is negative, this difference is delta H. The reaction proceeds not directly but like this. This is the reaction coordinate or the path of the reaction. So it needs some energy barrier that is called threshold energy. This energy is called threshold energy. Only the molecules having more than threshold energy can qualify into participate in the reaction. This difference between the energy of the reactants and the threshold energy is called activation energy and denoted as EA. So this is activation energy. This is defined as the minimum excess energy required for the reaction to occur. This activation energy, relating to the activation energy, Arrhenius has given a mathematical expression how K value changes with change in temperature. This is K is equal to, that is rate constant K is equal to A into e raised to minus EA by RT. K is equal to reaction, this is rate constant K is equal to A into e raised to minus EA by RT. So A is called Arrhenius factor or frequency factor, that is a constant for the reaction, and E exponential. So it is exponential form. EA is activation energy and R is gas constant and T is temperature in Kelvin scale. So this relates how K changes with the temperature. Now suppose T is there in the denominator, temperature increases, that 1 by T value decreases, and 1 by T value decreases, minus 1 by T value increases. So 1 by T value increases, minus 1 by T value increases, e raised to minus 1 by T value increases, therefore K increases. Therefore K increases with increase in temperature. Right? This is how this relates rate constant with temperature. Now according to Arrhenius, the reaction takes place through the formation of unstable intermediates, and they exist, and for the short time they exist and then breaks to form a product. For example, hydrogen iodine combined to form hydrogen iodide, HI. In this reaction, the reaction occurs through the formation of an intermediate which can be depicted here. H2I2 combined to form an intermediate HI, that is the ultimate product, but breaking of these bonds and formation of the new bonds you can find, and this is gets stabilized to form HI. So this is called intermediate or an activated complex. So activation energy is the energy required for formation of the activated complex. This is another way of interpretation. This is energy of H2 and I2 put together, and this is the energy of HI, and this difference between this is called activation energy, and this difference is delta H. Delta H has nothing to do with activation energy. Delta H is a thermodynamical factor, depends upon the energy of reactant and the product. It doesn't depend upon the path, right? Then, so activation energy is the needed energy needed for to form the activated complex, right? Now, what are the characteristics of activation energy? Activation energy is always positive, and the larger value of activation energy means slower is the rate of the reaction. Slower is the rate of the reaction. The activation energy is more, so minus Ca. Okay, this increases. Then the K value decreases. K value decreases. Minus sign is there. So K value decreases. Right? So the larger the value of activation energy, the steeper the slope of the ln k versus 1 by t. So let us take this ln k versus 1 by t. What is meant by ln k versus 1 by t? By taking the log of this, we can able to find the another useful form of this equation. Taking the logarithm to the base e, ln k is equal to ln a into e raised to minus ea by rt. Now this ln k is equal to log of product is log it can be written as ln a plus ln e raised to minus ea by rt. Now this is equal to ln a plus log of a raised to b is equal to b log of a. Therefore minus ea by rt log or ln base ln a. This is nothing but log to the base e to the e. Log e to the base e is equal to 1. Therefore this value will become 1. So we will get an expression ln k is equal to ln a minus ea by rt. Now as I told you, if you plot the graph of ln k versus 1 by t, it will be a straight line because it is of the form y is equal to mx plus c. So it is of the form y is equal to mx plus c. Therefore this will be a straight line. Let us see for a while. Now there is one more, temperature coefficient. So temperature coefficient is the rate of the reaction at 10 degrees Celsius or value of the rate constant at T plus 10 degrees Celsius divided by value of the rate constant at T degrees Celsius. So always this is more than this because increase of temperature increases the value of the rate constant. So this value for most of the reaction is found to be between 2 and 3 and we will give this ratio as temperature coefficient. The name temperature coefficient is being taken. So chemical reaction with rising temperature by 10 degrees Celsius, the rate constant is nearly doubled and the temperature coefficient for most of the reaction is in between 2 to 3. Now Arrhenius equation is this, and by taking the log of this, natural log of this, ln k is equal to ln a my ea minus a by rt will be the form of it. If you draw y is equal to mx plus b, the graphical form, then you will get like this. Plot ln k versus 1 by t. ln k y axis and 1 by t. You will get a straight line with negative slope. Slope is negative. Negative slope, you are going to get that. Now by using the slope, you can able to find out activation energy. You can able to find out the activation energy by graphically in this way. And suppose at two different temperatures, if you know that between different temperatures, the rate constant values, that means this equation at temperature T1, if you apply, ln K1 is equal to minus A by R T1 ln K, because the A value doesn't change with different temperature. Frequency factor, we consider this as a constant for a reaction. So ln A remains constant, therefore, and also R value will remain constant, the gas constant. The activation energy also will not change at different temperatures. Therefore, this is taken as equation 1. Now suppose at temperature 2, the equation is ln K2 is equal to Ea by minus Ea by RT2 ln A. Let it be the equation 2. By using these equations of expressions of ln K at two different temperatures, we can able to find out the value of Ea very easily. So let us see. Okay, so from this we can able to get the equations. We can able to get the equations very easily by subtracting equation 1 from 2. We get ln K2 minus ln K1 is equal to Ea by RT1 minus Ea by RT2. Right hand side of the expressions. Log of K2 minus ln K2 minus ln K1 is nothing but log of ln K2 by K1. If you convert ln, that is log to the base e into log to the base 10. If it is written in this form, it is log to the base 10. Then 2.303 is the multiplication factor to be taken. So when 2.303 is here, this will transpose this, it will go to the denominator. So activation energy EA by 2.303 into R, T2 minus T1 by T1 T2. So EA by R is being taken common here. So 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2, 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2 can be written in this form. So this is the equation useful to find out the value of activation energy when the rate constant value at two different temperatures are known. Advantage of this rather than this equation is, in this equation you need to know the frequency factor, but here there is no need of frequency factor. This information, rate constants at two different temperatures are known, and you can able to find out activation energy. Right? Now, this equation that we have seen. So, what is the effect of a catalyst? So, catalyst will increases the rate of the reaction. Normally, they increases the rate of the reaction. So, these substances change the path of the reaction. Suppose if the reaction path is like this without using catalyst, once you use the catalyst, it will follow the path which has got less activation energy than the one which is the path used when there is no catalyst. Since the activation energy is reduced, the rate of the reaction increases, right? So the presence of a catalyst increases the rate of the reaction because it changes the activation energy or it minimizes the activation energy. And catalyst may form an intermediate or a complex. The theories, there are many theories which explain the work of the catalyst. This is the one way which will make you to know about how catalyst may change or decrease the activation energy. Suppose if there is hydrogenation of an hydrocarbon or anything, both these gases are being adhered to a solid surface. So this is called adsorption. So adsorption theory says that the molecules get adsorbed over the surface of a metal. And because of the adsorption, the gases which are apart, they are nearer now. That means concentration of the reactant is being increased. So catalyst does it in this way also. It adsorbs. In case of solid catalyst with gaseous reactant, it increases the rate by increasing the concentration of the reactants, and thereby it increases the rate of the reaction. Okay, and another way which explains the presence of a catalyst, how it changes, is called transition state theory. So during the chemical reactions, reactants do not suddenly converted into products. The formation of product is a continuous process of bonding and forming and breaking of the bonds and so on. So at some point, transition species are formed containing partial bonds, as it is explained in the case of formation of HI. And the species is called transition state or activated complex. So activation energy needed for formation of an activated complex when catalyst is being used, will be having less energy. Therefore, less activation energy is required for when we use catalyst. And here is the picture which tells you about how exactly the reaction coordinate or reaction progress can be seen from the energy point of view. So here, methyl bromide, and there will be OH minus ion, and this particular molecule will be with OH minus ion. When it gets attracted the leaving group also will be attached here. This is called transition state. So, bromine atom is ready to lose and OH is ready to enter in. So, there is a transition state. So, this transition state occurs when these two are at equal distance. This is called transition state, that is the before transition state. After the transition state, OH is more nearer than the leaving, the one which is going to leave, that is bromine. Then the product is being formed. So energy required for the transition state is somewhere here. So that is called activation complex. So this activation energy, the energy required for the transition state is different. Therefore, for every reaction, so there needs some excess energy, that is activation energy. Now check your understanding. Which of the following statements is correct? The rate of the reaction decreases with passage of time as concentration of the reactant decreases. The rate of the reaction is same at any time during the reaction. The rate of the reaction is independent upon the temperature change. The rate of the reaction decreases with increase in concentration of the reactants. Okay, this is wrong because rate of the reaction not decreases with the increase in concentration. Rate law, it is wrong. And the rate of the reaction is independent upon the temperature, is also wrong. Now, the rate of the reaction is same at any time during the reaction, also wrong, because as concentration decreases, the rate of the reaction decreases. Therefore, first one is the answer for that. Right. Now, second question. The role of catalyst is to change Gibbs free energy of the reaction, enthalpy of the reaction, the activation energy of the reaction, and equilibrium constant. Remember that catalyst doesn't affect Gibbs energy or enthalpy or equilibrium constant. It only changes activation energy. For an equilibrium, catalyst increases both forward reaction and the backward reaction. Therefore, this rate equilibrium constant value is not going to be changed. Right. So activation energy is the answer for that. Now third question, in the presence of a catalyst, the heat evolved or absorbed during the reaction is dash. Heat increases, decreases, remains unchanged, and may increase or decrease. This is about heat change, heat evolved, that is delta H value. So as I told you, delta H value is not affected, therefore third one, it remains unchanged. Delta H value doesn't change, it only depends upon energy of the reactants and the energy of the product, final energy of the products. Therefore, that difference will remain as it is. Right? So, what we have discussed so far is the temperature dependence of the rate of the reaction, Arrhenius equation, and the effect of the catalyst, and also we talked about the transition theory. And there will be one more part which talk about in which we will discuss about the various numericals that can be solved by using this expression. Thank you.